Okay, hello. This is richardpaulhobbs at gmail.com. This is copyrighted 2018. Please send an email to poorfortrump at gmail.com and read what we have to say about racism and how the Democrats have been abusing black people for 400 years, and they still are. And we need to get out of that. We need to wake up, and black people need to stand up and enjoy the liberty, life, and enjoyment of life that my ancestor died fighting in a war after they started a Republican Party. White Americans who hated the idea that black people should be treated any different than white people for any reason, because we were saved. And we understood Jesus, and we believed in Jesus, and we knew that God had nothing to do with the treatment of black people as slaves. It was Satan's work. Just like tobacco is Satan's work, and alcohol is Satan's work, and abortion is Satan's work, and getting high and using drugs and doing destructive things to yourself and your children. These are all the works of Satan. We don't want to be doing that. Instead, we want to let's get together, black people, please, and share this with everyone until we get many persons of color registered as Republicans working together to put 30 poor black grandmothers, conservative Republican Christian grandmothers, into Congress. The Democrats had never run a poor black person or any poor person for public office anywhere in the United States because they're a bunch of frauds. They're white supremacists who pretend that they care about blacks just so they can impose their evil desires to smoke pot and to have abortions and to do all sorts of wrong things and just not have to worry about it. This is wrong. And you can't justify the wrong things you're doing by letting other people do what they want to do. That's wrong. That's destructive. That's harmful. How in the world can anybody buy cigarettes when they know that the ancestors of the people who owned the cigarette companies, they were slave owners? They beat black people up, and they abused them and took them away from their families, and they did all sorts of horrible things that any unsaved person would do to another unsaved person or to a saved person. They did wrong, and they justified it by worshiping Satan. And now you're going to buy cigarettes and give money to their descendants and reward them? And you're going to go out and buy booze and reward the European Democrats who came here in the 1900s after America had ended alcohol. We ended it. It was illegal to use because we didn't want a bunch of drunk drivers in this country. And the best way to do that was to get rid of alcohol. We don't need alcohol. If you need alcohol, there's something wrong with you. You need to get saved. You need Jesus to save you because you're on your way to hell, and that's why you're drinking alcohol, because you're miserable, because you don't know Jesus as your friend. That's the truth. And now the Democrats have abortions and pot smoking, and they're going to improve our lives by killing our babies and by being high so we can't be responsible human beings. This whole business about the wall in Mexico, you poor black person, the white people want to bring all these Mexicans in here so the Hispanic vote will be more, it already is considered more important than the black vote. Now why? Because you're being used by the Democratic Party, a bunch of kings and queens. They want to get elected, be there forever. They don't want to do anything to earn any money for themselves. They want to get sucked off of tax money. Let the Republicans go out and get rich and then tax them to death. If you're black, you need to be a Republican. And you need to stop being on the dole and being on the plantations in the cities. All the cities are run by the Democrats, and they put black people in jail. Their prisons are full with black people. They don't put white people in jail. And then they fill the state, New York State and Illinois, has got the prisons full of black people. Well, But all right, you're going to tell me the Republicans do the same. They don't do the same. But at least they don't pretend that they care about black people and put them all in jail. Now here's Mr. Trump, who the media has you convinced he's evil. And the Democratic Party, these people who are atheists, who manipulate and control things so they can have power, so they can smoke pot and do abortions. So you can have an abortion and smoke pot so they can do euthanasia because they hate you and they love themselves, self-centered, self-serving people. That's not the way black people are. Black people care about others. And they don't need to be using alcohol and pot and carrying on. They need to know Jesus and be happy in Jesus and serve God and be happy. So please, let's all become Republicans and let's work together so that everyone can enjoy their life. And that if you're black, you put money away for your children instead of buying beer with it and alcohol and tobacco. And you bring them to church and teach them how to have a good future, how to read and write and live. And you end the curses that are passing down from generation to generation. And you get the blessings of Jesus. So we want to put 30 poor black grandmothers in Congress because they'll do what's right. They will balance the budget. They will understand how our government is not right socially and the way we don't treat people fair. And they will help bring laws in that may treat people fair. Enforce the laws. If we want a law, we enforce it. If we don't want a law, we don't have it. But not this Democratic Party business of having a bunch of laws and then enforcing them against the people you want to enforce them against, and the other people, you let them do what they want. Your friends can do everything wrong, you get away with it, but everybody else has to be held accountable. No, we don't want kings and queens. We don't want a ruling class. We don't want career politicians. And we don't want the government taking all the money from people who worked hard and giving it to people who haven't worked hard. Now, that's one thing. Everybody wants to help the poor, and the people are poor because they can't work or they're not able to provide for themselves. But the Democrats didn't help the blacks. They haven't created any laws that weren't already created by the Republicans to cause life to be fair for black people. All they did is keep slavery going until the 1960s, when they had sharecropping and all this garbage. And then when they saw that that wasn't going to go anymore for a way to fool people, they started acting like they care about the blacks in the city. And it's all evil. And all right, well, we don't need to continue with Republican white people running the country or Democratic white people. We can put people in who serve one term and then they retire and go back to work instead of being career politicians. We need to work together. Send an email to our poor4trump@gmail.com and read the reply and wake up and send another email to letsendyours@gmail.com. And read about yours and see it's a bunch of fraud. The whole thing's a fraud. But we don't have to let it continue to be a fraud. We can start to do what's right and honor Jesus and glorify Jesus by what is being done right and help people all over the world and in our country and in our neighborhood. Let's do what's right, okay? Dear Jesus, thank you for saving us. Teach us what salvation is and help us to serve you and love you in all our ways. We acknowledge you. Please read the description and please share this. Thank you, friend. Happy Sunday morning.